Let's cover the fundamentals of the 4-DISC personality types. This framework is very powerful because if you can identify the language and behavior that a specific personality type uses, it's much easier to connect with them and to sell to them.
These 4 types are a combination of 2 dimensions, logical versus emotional, and fast-paced versus slow-paced. The dominant is logical and fast-paced. They're direct, they're to the point, aggressive, and they make few concessions. The analyst is logical and slow-paced. They're analytical, they take their time, they like to examine, and they are versed towards proven systems, methods, facts, and very well prepared. The passionate is emotional and fast-paced. They focus on stories, celebration, memories, inspiration. They're the life of the party. Finally, the nurturer is emotional and slow-paced. They feel deeply, they care about others, they support others, and they appreciate being taken care of equally as well. So we can group these types in this matrix structure, right? The dominant and analyst are both logical, while the passionate and nurturer are both emotional. The dominant and passionate are both fast-paced, while the analyst and the nurturer are both slow-paced. Let's take a look at the language patterns that they use. The dominant is the type of person that says the essential to get it over with. It's that simple. They're extremely direct and they just want to get it done. The analyst is slow. They focus on facts, on methods, on systems with a deep level of detail. They're extremely prepared and they demand the same level of preparation from anybody dealing with them. The passionate is focused on the big picture, the vision, inspirations, stories, celebration, parties, memories. And finally, the nurturer focuses on helping others, both people close to them and their community, even the world. They always focus on the benefits of something in terms of how it supports people. In terms of time, how long can you expect your interactions with these types to go? The dominant will take the least time. I always make the joke that regardless of whether an influence attempt goes well or goes badly, you will know it in a couple of minutes when you're dealing with a dominant. The analyst is the opposite. They will take their sweet time and they will wait as much time as possible to have the best option. Sometimes they can seem irritatingly slow for other types. They're the type of person that wants to make sure that they get the best absolute option and they never rush because that is a risk. The passionate and nurturer vary greatly. Although the passionate is fast-paced and the nurturer is slow-paced by nature, they can both vary a lot. This is because they can both get lost easily. If you don't keep them on track, they can both take a lot of time. For different reasons. The passionate is because they get lost in the vision, all of the stories, all of the celebration, the inspiration. And the nurturer, it's because they really enjoy the relationship and they just love spending time. In other words, if you have a 1-hour meeting, if it's dominant, it's probably going to take 30 minutes, maybe 10. If it's an analyst, it's going to take 1 hour and a half at least. And if it's a passionate or nurturer, it can vary greatly depending on whether you keep them on track or how much leeway you give them with a conversation.
So now that we've taken a look at the fundamentals, how these 4 types speak, how they behave, now let's get to the interesting part. How do you actually persuade these 4 types? What do they react to? How do you negotiate with them?
So, in terms of negotiating, how can you gain an edge? And how can you persuade the other person based on their personality type? We're going to start with the dominant, which is the worst case scenario usually. So, a dominant is very aggressive and they will give you the least leeway possible. The best techniques with the dominant are to, first of all, verbalize respect and deference of their time and authority. This needs to happen, and unless they feel respected, they will not accept the negotiation or even torpedo it. Then, show them how they can win and what's exclusive. Dominants are focused on, even obsessed, with winning over others and wanting what others don't have. Therefore, showing them how they can win and how exclusive it is a great technique. Then we have the analyst. The most important thing for an analyst is to be prepared. If you are not prepared down to the smallest details, they will immediately lose respect for you and possibly end the relationship. Back everything up either with numbers or, in the lack of them, with proven methods, processes, something that shows predictability, reliability, and accuracy. For the passionate, you have to illustrate that big vision. Success stories work especially well with the passionate. Illustrate the vision, the success, the story, the memory that will be created, the inspiration that they will be for others, the reference that they will be, the celebration, and even the partying that will ensue, and them being the center of the party. Always verbalize respect of that vision naturally. Finally, we have the nurturer. Take care of them. Make them feel understood, taken care of, supported. Explicitly say that you are going to hold their hand or support them whenever they need it. Also, when naming the benefits of your actual value proposition, tell them how this is going to allow them to help others. So, for each one of these types, there are things that you have to do, which are essential for a good relationship, and cardinal sins that can immediately end it. And the interesting thing is, what is required for a type may be exactly what kills the relationship for another type. For example, the dominant is logical and fast-paced, and they hate wasting time. So spending time to get to know each other is a surefire way to irritate them. However, for a nurturer who is emotional and slow-paced, it's essential. For a passionate who is emotional and fast-paced, getting bogged down in details and ignoring the vision, focusing just on the operational details, is a cardinal sin. It will erode the relationship very fast. Guess what? For an analyst who is logical and slow-paced, that's essential. This has to do with the place in the matrix, right? Emotional and logical are opposite, as well as being fast-paced and slow-paced. So what works best for a logical, fast-paced person, for example, is going to kill the emotional, slow-paced relationship. And the same for logical and slow-paced versus emotional and fast-paced. They're in opposite corners of the matrix, if you will. A good mnemonic or shortcut to remember this is, the dominant values the doing above the person or the relationship, while the nurturer does the opposite. And then, the analyst values the details above the vision, while the passionate obviously does the opposite.
So now that you know this information, you're going to have a lot more ease negotiating and dealing with these four types. You're going to be able to better verbalize the benefits for each one of the four. You're going to be able to say the right things to them. And possibly, most important of all, you're going to know exactly what not to do with those four types. Not disrespecting a dominant and not being unprepared with an analyst, for example. Thank you so much for watching.